Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Overcoming Addiction, where we'll be talking about more relapse prevention strategies. This episode, I'm specifically talk about spiritual recovery, so stay tuned. In recent projects on this channel, I have shared some widely researched clinical data, along with some of my thoughts, which are based on my personal experiences on how illegal substances can impact the mind and body. I've also shared clinical data along with some of my thoughts on how to combat the impact illegal substances have on the minds and bodies of those afflicted. In those videos, I've touched on the clinical results and successes of combining mental and physical exercises with diet and nutrition during the recovery process. Also, in previous videos, I shared how I used techniques described in my book to overcome the impact drugs had on me both mentally and physically. But for full recovery to occur, healing must also take place in one other area. That is in the spirit. A successful recovery is one that is conducted in a holistic manner, meaning it has to take place mentally, physically, and spiritually. In this video, I'm going to try to describe how I had to develop spiritual tools or weapons to combat my demons of addiction. And make no mistake about it, substance abuse of any kind is initiated and controlled by a demonic force. You don't have to take my word for it, it's in the Bible. And speaking of, to paraphrase a verse from Ephesians in chapter 6, the war begins in the spirit realm with supernatural beings. I guess you can say the war begins in the spirit realm influenced by supernatural beings. So, in other words, the choices we make are influenced by external sources. Every choice we make is influenced by something we see and hear, causing us to feel some type of way. And as human beings, we are generally going to act on our feelings. Now, everything I'm going to share here is taken from my book, The Effective Use of Spiritual Tools. And there's a link to my publisher's website where my books are sold in the comment section of this video. Also, a flyer will be presented at the end of this video with my contact information for anybody who would like to purchase signed copies of both the books. And also, there's going to be more purchasing options. If you take a moment to really think about it, an overwhelming amount of conflicts that we experience over our lifetimes begin as a thought influenced by our surroundings. Now, if you think about it, if there were no sin to be observed, then no one would have an idea what it is, let alone giving in to its influences. In my first book titled The Effective Use of Spiritual Tools, I describe how I developed and applied spiritual lessons learned through prayer and meditation to first recognize and then address the source of my addiction. And those who know me know that I believe that Satan is the source of all addictions and that his primary areas of operation are in our minds. In the chapter of the book, How It Began for Me, I describe how first the social and then the psychological attraction to drugs became a physical dependency, making it necessary for me to function daily. Now, the social attraction is self-explanatory. You know, people for different look for different ways to socialize and may often turn to unnatural stimulants like alcohol and illegal substances, just as I did. The psychological attraction is done in a manipulative manner. People who struggle with mental disorders like depression are more vulnerable and more successive to those demonic spirits that mislead and manipulate. And for those who aren't struggling with mental disorders, chemical stimulants like alcohol or drugs often feel like a shortcut that will heighten mundane experiences, but they come with a hidden cost. Dependency, both mentally and physically, often lead to diminished health and sometimes death. But what is fascinating is that the drive itself, or looking for a way to heighten mundane experiences, isn't inherently bad. It's a signal of our desire for a deeper or more meaningful connection with ourselves and those around us. But the question becomes, how do we honor that desire without turning to substances that erode us over time? Now, here's why I think that spiritual recovery binds the entire process. Many professional treatment centers don't place much emphasis on spiritual recovery because it's a form of treatment the individual must seek on their own. And really, that's how it should be. During my 90 days in a treatment program, their focus was on my social, psychological, and physical recovery. Spiritual options were suggested and the opportunity was available. We were allowed to attend the local church on Sundays, and that same church would send a group to our facility to conduct Bible studies every other week. But that was it. During this time is when I realized that spiritual inclusion could be used as a companion to the normal practices of the treatment program. I was brought up in faith, which is the reason I knew to seek God's help for my recovery. In my book, I describe how I use the guidance of prayer and meditation as tools to begin my road to recovery. But it was during my stay at this treatment facility where I began to add on to those tools. The addition of a spiritual component changed everything for me. It acted like a bonding agent that bound everything I learned about the psychological, social, and physical restoration into a single form of healing, allowing me as a whole to be restored. I discovered that the spiritual practices have restorative powers that can assist with healing in every area of our lives. There is a chapter in the book titled Spiritual Proximity Alerts. In it, I gave some analogies on how through technology we're able to remotely activate and operate certain devices using other devices if the devices are in proximity of one another. Building a close relationship with our Creator, our Source, allows Him to activate blessings, operate in our spirits, and orchestrate our lives. When we use a device to turn on another device, their capabilities and benefits are activated or accessible to us. Being in close proximity to God opens us up to everything He is capable of providing in our lives. It's what I strive to accomplish every day because within this proximity is protection, a form of protection that protects from the evil that rules this world. In the next video, I'll share some other spiritual tools that can be used to combat abuse. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse or abuse of any kind, please seek help before it is too late. If you like, I can make some referrals on your behalf. My contact information is included in this video. If anyone has suggestions, comments, or questions, please contact me. Also, books are still on sale and the purchasing information is included in the flyer. If you like a signed copy, please email me to make mailing arrangements. Please don't forget to like and share. If not the channel, at least the information in the video. Start your own discussion. I appreciate all who have subscribed and followed this channel. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.